In the stillness of the night, the sound of cars on the highway was barely audible. But inside the heart of a young man, a great storm was raging. His hands gripped the steering wheel tightly, his eyes shut, and within 5 seconds, he nearly surrendered himself to fate. Full of despair and hopelessness, driving at 120 kilometers per hour, he realized he was speeding toward destruction. His life no longer had direction. He felt hollow, empty, as if he were already dead even though his body still breathed. It was then he realized that if he didn't find something greater, deeper, and more meaningful than this worldly life, he would truly perish. His name was SQ, and he grew up in the harsh environment of the Bronx, United States. His childhood was filled with fear. His father was abusive, angry, and a cruel domestic abuser. His mother, his sister, and himself were all victims of years of physical and emotional violence that poisoned their home. Until one night, with great courage, the three of them fled while the father was asleep. They escaped the house that had been their place of trauma and moved to New York. Ironically, the move happened on the night before the tragedy of September 11th, 2001. The next day, the world changed. SQ, with a Muslim name and South Asian appearance, became a target of mockery, insults, and even discrimination at school. He was called a terrorist, told to go back to a country he had never known, and gradually shame began to grow within him. He started to deny his identity as a Muslim and as a Pakistani. He preferred to call himself Puerto Rican or Dominican, even pretending not to know his mother when they were together in public. In his teenage years, SQ sank into a dark world. He tried to mask his wounds with nightlife, partying, drinking, using dodgeargs, and sleeping around. He knew it was all wrong, but the pain in his heart was too deep to face honestly. He spiraled deeper. His nights were spent in loneliness and tears. One night, he sat in the bathroom like a baby, crying silently, begging God to give him a sign, or end his life if there was no more hope. That prayer became a turning point. He decided to follow his mother to Pakistan. There he began searching for a cure for his soul. He read popular spiritual books like The Secret, tried meditation, and explored various beliefs: Buddhism, Hinduism, even Christianity. He read the Bible, the Torah, and the Gospels, but nothing filled the void inside him. Until one day during Ramadan, his mother told him to pray. "If you're going to fast, then pray too. Allah doesn't need you to just starve if you're not going to pray," she said. SQ didn't know how to pray, but he tried. He downloaded a Quran app and began reading. At first, it was just to distract himself from the woman he once loved, the one who left him shattered. But slowly he felt something he had never felt before: peace. He read one verse, then paused. Then he reflected. His phone went dark from inactivity, but his thoughts kept returning to the verse. He felt the Quran was speaking directly to him. He tested himself. One day he stopped reading, and his mind became restless again. But once he opened the digital mushaf again, his heart calmed. One night he read a verse that brought him to tears. "Know that it is only in the remembrance of Allah that hearts find peace." For him, it wasn't a coincidence. It was an answer. That verse seemed to respond to his deepest turmoil without him needing to ask. His tears flowed. He cried not out of sadness, but because his heart finally felt found. Back in New York, he was determined not to abandon prayer and to keep reading the Quran. But his old environment quickly tempted him. His old friends invited him to party, drink, and have fun like before. He declined, saying he was unwell. One by one, he lost them, but at the same time, he met new people. One day, he dared to tell someone that he was studying the Quran. Their reaction? Not ridicule, but admiration. From there, he learned that honesty and transformation could open new doors. One night, he went with a friend to a nightclub, but he no longer touched alcohol or did drugs. He just sat quietly. When a woman sat beside him and started a conversation, SQ instead spoke about Islam, the Day of Judgment, and the afterlife. The woman shed tears and said, "If you believe in all that, why are you still here?" SQ was speechless. That night he went home, sat down and cried. That night was the last time he ever set foot in such a place. He reopened the Quran, and for the first time, he truly felt like he was home. From that day, his life changed. He became active in the mosque, left his old social circles, and started to do dawah. He wanted to be a light for those still trapped in darkness. He knew many people still suffered in silence, entangled in depression, dark drugs, promiscuity, and worthlessness. He wanted to tell them that Islam was the answer, that he was once like them, and Allah gave him a second chance. If Allah could change him, then anyone could change. Now 12 years have passed since he returned to Islam. His life isn't perfect. He is still a human being who struggles in his faith. But one thing he knows for sure, he will never go back to his days of ignorance. And for anyone currently in the depths of darkness, he has a message. Don't let the devil whisper that you're too filthy to return. Allah never closes his door to anyone. Hijrah is hard, but Allah will replace everything with something better if you truly seek him. This is the inspiring story of a beautiful convert of Japanese and English descent named Hana Tajima Simpson. Her name is often the topic of discussion among Muslima bloggers, not only because of her charming and sweet face, but also for her unique and casual hijab style. Thanks to her career as a fashion designer, Hana's face has graced various international media outlets, including those in the UK and Brazil. She is known as the creative force behind a modern Muslim fashion brand that introduced a layered style hijab. Through this brand, Hana strives to present a fashion trend that is both stylish and in accordance with Islamic values, especially for Muslim women in Western countries. Hana embraced Islam at the age of 17. She came from a Christian family that was not particularly religious. Her father was of Japanese descent and her mother an English woman. In her family, religion was not a central part of life. In fact, her parents were not strongly convinced about the existence of God. However, the turning point in Hana's life came when she was studying at university. There, she befriended several Muslim female students. Through her interactions with these new friends, Hana noticed something different about them. They maintained boundaries in social interactions, refused invitations to nightclubs, and preferred to spend their time reading or having discussions in the library. All of this left a strong impression on Hana. From her connection with her Muslim friends, Hana gradually developed an interest in philosophy, particularly Islamic philosophy. She then began to read directly from its source, the Quran. The more she read, the more she felt connected to the teachings found within the Holy Book. According to Hana, the Quran not only speaks about faith, but also places great emphasis on women's rights and dignified ways of life. She admitted that she came to understand why her Muslim friends could live so peacefully and purposefully. Still at the beginning, Hana did not yet have the intention to convert to Islam. However, over time, her curiosity grew into conviction. Eventually, she reached a point where she could no longer deny the truth of Islam. With full awareness and without any coercion, Hana recited the 2 testimonies of faith, Shahada. She embraced Islam in a simple setting witnessed by her close friends. She then gathered the courage to tell her family about her major decision. Although it was not easy, Hana was confident that her family would respect her choice. And she was right. They accepted it well and recognized that her decision to become a Muslim was something positive. The same went for her decision to start wearing the hijab. No one forced her. Hana chose to wear the hijab on the very first day of her new life as a Muslim woman. She felt that wearing the hijab symbolized the transformation of her past life into a more meaningful future. She knew that many people held negative perceptions about the hijab, including some of her own friends. But Hana decided to act as if she was unaware of their thoughts and remain firm in her commitment. Over time, the people around her began to accept her new hijab-wearing appearance. Through her personal blog, Hana admitted that being a Muslim woman in a Western country was not easy. Many people looked at her strangely, even fearfully. It was from this personal experience that she felt compelled to create a fashion brand that could help Muslim women cope with the fear and anxiety associated with wearing the hijab. She wanted Muslim women around the world to feel confident and comfortable without having to compromise their religious values. The clothing she designs is not only well received by Muslim women, but also appreciated by non-Muslims who admire the elegance and simplicity of her designs. Such is the spiritual journey of Hana Tajima, a beautiful woman of Japanese and English descent who found divine guidance through her Muslim friends and bravely made a life-changing decision. May she always be granted steadfastness in her faith and continue to inspire many others to draw closer to Allah. Ameen. Allahumma ameen.